Okay, so Sterlyn kind of introduced a third topic then, which I think is very no, but actually I think it's very relevant. We just didn't see it. Yeah, there are a lot of people in their escapism. They're escaping because they're a little bit rough around the edges, and they're being persecuted, and they're for being such. And I also think, because I remember when I first came in the influx, I noticed there was a lot of gay people. Foreigners, and I mean they had whole cliques, and like to the point where they're actually like they're almost like damn near recruiting and coming and talking like, yeah, we seen pictures of you. Okay, well that's good. I mean they're like looking to see if I'm going to be open to it, and I'm like, I ain't open to it, but I mean I'm not going to get out my face, get away from me, but I'm going to give you the signals, let you know, like don't come over here trying to hit on me. You know what I'm saying? Like don't come over here like don't try to come hit on me, especially because I'm the group. It was a teaching group, and I was like, oh, so there's a bunch of y'all, and a lot of you, and a lot of people were just open to it. So I'm not gonna just snap. Anyway, I don't feel that way, but I did feel kind of a way of you just being so liberal about just coming up and talking to me like that. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, no, but I just again stay my ground.
But not the weird. I'm glad you brought that point, because you mind if I say one story? Is one where I went with a group of teachers, or I taught at this school with, and we all went to some bar together. And there was a white boy there. He was definitely gay, and he was sitting on every dude's lap like he was one of them playful gay niggas. Like he thinks he can go around and start touching cats or do whatever he thinks he can do. And I peeped him way before when I was sitting down talking to my boy, and he was just going around table to table like getting to know each other. It was a very small bar, and a lot of times when you're in Japan, especially white people, they get real comfortable around you all of a sudden. Now everything is like, we're all out here, so I can just talk to you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He came over and he started, like, we were saying something, and I was like, yeah, I think this and this and this. And he was like, yeah, well, I think, and I was like, what do you mean? What do you think? Like, nobody cares what you think, man. And he was like, oh, sorry, I didn't introduce myself. I was like, no, I don't even want to know your name, man. I don't know why you came over here, but you ain't got to be over here. He was like, no, I know. And he pointed at my friend. I'm like, that's fine, but I'm not talking to you right now. He was like, why you got to act like that? And like, now he's making it a problem. You know what I'm saying? And in the end of the day, I was like, yo, man, you need to go over there. I said something to that effect. And my boy, he's a brother, and another brother who was in there the whole time, they were like, yeah, you're kind of an asshole. They're the first ones who came at me with that shit.
Some black people,
the only black people who are in there. And I guess that's the one of the issues right there. The biggest issue I have, right, is when you're with black people and there's not even any other people around, and you're still trying to push, well, we're all one human family and we should all be together. So, like, hey, you want to hang out next week? I'm thinking like, there'd be some black people just hanging out. He gonna bring his white friend. You know what I'm saying? You're like, okay, so they don't even know the difference anymore. Like being over here long enough or whatever it is.
Oh, and let me tell you a story like that. I think I've told you this one, but I think it's relevant. Same thing. I know it was a brother, and actually he's in Japan now, and he came here because I was here basically. He learned through Japan, and he came here. He had a teaching job. I linked up with him. So this is a cat I knew from, basically grew up with. Mm-hmm. And he linked up with another brother. So me and these two brothers are going out. And I told him straight up, I was like, look, when we go out, I ain't trying to hang out with no white teachers. Let's go and see some Japanese people, some black people. I ain't trying to hang out in that whole guy. It wasn't even, no, it was. It was white people, because the only white people I knew equal English teachers.
Right,
you
right.
Know, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't want to be, hi, I'm real, hey, so how was life in the UK and Switzerland? I don't want to talk about that. It's not, I ain't talking about going and hunting down and beating up no white people. Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, Mexican people hang out with Mexican people. Nobody thinks it's strange.
Right. Indians, you know what I'm saying? Hang out with Indians. Yep.
So I told him, I said, okay, wherever we go, just no white folks, no white teachers. And the dude who's supposed to be my boy, he think he's funny. Mm. So where does he take us? He takes us into this pub, and it's a group of like 15 white people.
Oh my God!
And he walks in. We walk in. He walks away from me. He think he's funny, right? He think he's being funny, so he gonna walk to the other side of the room because he don't think I'm gonna confront him. You know what I'm saying? Like just and he don't realize how much of a just how wacky he's coming off.
Yeah.
So they both walk away from me, just like Sterlyn walked away. No, I'm just kidding. But and walked away from me, and I'm like, okay, now I'm in here. I'm not going to just be, because that's what they want to see. They want to see, are you going to be a complete asshole? What are you going to do? So I was like, all right, let me just sit down. I'm not going to say nothing, because these people they didn't do anything to me, So I could get down, introduce myself, whatever. They're drinking. It turns out it's this girl's birthday party.
Uh-huh.
Now the catch here is, there's a catch. I gotta bring it back. There was another girl in there too that I recognized immediately when I walked in, and I didn't know her personally, but I had met her in a club like a week before, in the same city, and actually it happened to be here in Nagoya before I lived in Nagoya. I used to live in Hamamatsu a long time ago, which is the Shizuoka prefecture, neighboring prefecture. I came to Nagoya, was out clubbing, went to a club, and this white chick came on to me, strong, like and I'm not attracted to Caucasian women. I never have been. No, again, I ain't talking about hating nobody.
Ditto.
You know what I'm saying? And so she came on, and she was coming on like a lot of white women. For those who may not know, because of their white privilege, they come on to you and they just think brothers are just going like, oh,
they come on to you strong.
Yeah. They just know you gonna be on them. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can tell by their language and stuff. And so some of that really takes me aback. I mean, especially because this chick is she ain't even good looking. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, and you think you had it like that, like, but I ain't saying none of that. I'm being polite. Yeah. And actually, to avoid the whole situation, what I did was, years ago, I used to live in Dominican Republic, and I lived there, and I got pretty fluent in Spanish. So I just started speaking Spanish to her, and I lied to her and told her I was Dominican, because I had the whole Dominican accent, and I picked the wrong chick, and she was like, "Oh, my major in college was Spanish." So hola, ¿cómo estás? She starts speaking to me. I'm like, oh God. So we were having this conversation in Spanish back and forth, and I got it. I finally got it. Okay, bye.
You had a conversation with her though.
Yeah, we had a conversation. We had a conversation about Japan. The same conversation you would have had in English. Oh, you like Japan? Why'd you come to Japan? What's your favorite? That whole gaijin conversation. Yeah.
Yeah,
so I'm just trying to be polite and end it as soon as I can. But she's going along because she's trying to drop game. You know what I mean? Whatever would happen, I get out of it. It ends, but it ends on a note. She thinks she met some nigga named Javier. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so I told my boy, we laugh about it, whatever. Now we come back in here, and now I'm thinking about it. My boy might have known about that shit. I don't know. It doesn't even matter. We walk in, and she's in there, and as soon as I walk in, I'm like, okay, so what am I going to do? Am I going to just start speaking Spanish and try to front? I'm like, I ain't doing that. I'm like, so I just start speaking English, and she's on the other side of the room, like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Because she was totally fooled. And so now she's upset. She comes around to where I'm like, oh, here it go. And she's friends with the girl whose birthday it is. And so she starts saying slick things to me because she don't like me, because she's mad. She's trying to get back at me now. Now she got all these white people in here. She thinks she got me, at a disadvantage. And I'm looking at this whole thing. I'm like, I don't even want to be here, and homeboy, my sellout friend, peace out to Hank. He crossed over there, like talking, like ignoring me because he knows I want to leave, so he won't look at me. So I can't make that eye contact. Like, let's go, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he's just over there talking, in his conversation. These two, and so the white girl that I had dissed in the club, she gets into the other girl. The whole vibe of, fuck him, and they just start.
Right. Now they team up. Yeah.
They team up and they're getting drunk. Like I said, without me going into the particulars, not really important. But they start picking on the wrong person. I'm like, okay, well, you want to play? Let's play. And I pushed their buttons. I pushed their buttons. I was a lot younger back then. And but I was on the same level they were on. I didn't take it further. I was just like, yo, you ain't gonna punk me.
Right.
I don't care whose birthday it is.
Building, though.
And yeah, the tension's building. And then the one chick whose birthday it is, she goes, after I said something, she was like, "I should throw this drink on you." And she actually picks the drink up like, a tea glass and puts it like, and I looked at her like, bitch, you better act, now that's because that's like fighting, that's like violence, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I looked at her, with that, you better act like look, I ain't playing. And she caught it and was like, oh, you
think I'm not gonna do it, like it's a dare now to her.
No. She caught it like maybe I shouldn't do this.
Okay, yeah.
And when I saw that, I looked away. But when I looked away, the other girl, who's the one who didn't like me, grabbed her hand and made her do it.
Oh.
And she was trying to make it so I wouldn't see it. But I caught it. She threw it. It flew all over me. Okay, and it's funny.
She put her hand up. She was like, she took her hand and made her do it.
Yeah, she actually grabbed her hand and did it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but what? The girl wasn't fighting too bad. She just needed to be prodded a little bit. So it was a collective effort. Like I said, because I actually saw it.
You're right.
Now everybody in the room except for Coon over there, Coon boy in the conversation, even the girl he trying to kick it to ain't listening to him, and she looking over here. What happened? He the only one don't know. It gets all quiet. You can hear his voice. He having his coon conversation. And then he has to get quiet to see what's going on. So when it happened, I was like, okay, now I finally got your attention. Okay, so let's end this. And I said, okay, hey everybody, hey, we're having a deep conversation, and tensions got a little high, and I think people maybe have lost their temper a little bit, and so she got upset, and I said, well, instead of telling me, I said she did something like this, and at that time the waitress had just come in with a new batch of beer, and she had the bottled beer, the Asahi super dry beers. I think they're not quite a quart. I don't know how much they are, but they're pretty big. They're bigger than a regular glass. And she put it down, put it on the table, and I was like, right on time. I was like, she got up, the girl got upset, and so she took her glass and she did something like this, and I grabbed the bottle of beer and just started pouring it on her.
Yeah.
Pouring it on the girl who, cause the one who did it, whose birthday it was. And she grabbed, and by this time, the other girl had walked away from her and went back to her seat, which was on this side. So the girl who I was pouring the beer on, she grabbed another drink and tried to throw it on me. I missed, and it hit.
So only the one got wet.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm telling you. Yeah, because the girl who grabbed her hand had walked back to her seat.
Okay.
I forgot to mention that.
Yeah,
so I'm pouring while right when it happened. So I'm pouring the beer on her, and the girl, she feels it. She grabs another drink and throws it at me, but I move. And it hits the other girl. It hits the girl. It hits the other girl. Smash! Hits the other girl in the face. Right? And I'm still pouring. Because them beers, the bubble, and I'm still pouring it. And she's too dumb to actually get out the way. So the whole bottle of beer is on her. She's like sitting in a puddle. Her makeup is all smeared off her face. And she had to get up, and everybody was real quiet. I said, now, hey, let's stop right here. I said, now, before y'all jump to conclusions, she assaulted me first. She threw a drink on me, and I came back to her with the same medicine. If you can't stand the heat, get out the kitchen. I didn't call for none of this. And you could tell the white dudes, there's a whole bunch. So they expected these white dudes to handle us.
Over there, handle you, yeah.
To handle us, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, my back was to the door. I had a bunch of bottles. I liked my chances. And I wasn't worried about Coon Boy over there. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? His roommate actually got up and came over near me. Like he was like, oh, let me come over. Cause I remember he was like, let me come over to my rightful place at the table, which was the head of the table. He said that as, before it really escalated. When it was starting to escalate, he came back over.
Okay. So that was before you poured the bottle of beer.
Before he poured the bottle, the other dude came over. The other guy came over. So we were near the door, and Coon guy was still over there. So I was like, if whatever happens to him. And I'm like, yo, hey, we can. I'm down. I'm down now. I'm like, as long as everybody knows what happened, you know what I'm saying. I don't want you thinking you look over, you just think I just poured some drink on some girl randomly, and I'm just being an asshole. You know what I'm saying? I was like, as long as you know what happened, if you have enough nerve to come and fight me now, I feel like I'm in the right, and I would have no problem. You know what I'm saying?
You warned your boy. You warned your coon boy, right?
Well,
that you didn't even want to be in that kind of situation.
Yeah. He thought it was being funny.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
But it's real funny now. Yeah,
it was funny after that. It's funny, man. And,
what happened? Did they come at you?
No, they ain't come at me, man. They were like, matter of fact, the one white dude who's next to me, he was trying to hang with us. He was like, yo, so, where you guys gonna go after? Because he knew it was over. So where y'all going after this? He was like, fuck her. He was like, so where y'all going after this, man?
Yep.
And I remember before I left, though, man, the girl had to go in the bathroom and clean up, and she was trying to come back and save face and act like she
had makeup on.
No, her makeup, it was all. He had to take it all off.
Yeah, take it off.
Oh man, and I said, happy birthday. I bet this is a birthday. I said you'll never forget. Shout out to her, because if she's in Japan right now, I know she remembers me. And she, you know, and I never thought about it. She might not have never known that her girlfriend set her up. She might have never ever known that the whole Spanish speaking fiasco. To this day, she might have never even known that.
It all happened because that all happened way before that.
It was like 2 weeks before. It was like just short, like soon enough that she knew it was me. You know, now that's him. You know, nah, it's not. Now this is all in Japan. Now this happened in Japan. I didn't write anything happened in Japan in the book. Yeah, man. But like I said, people come over here, and he hadn't been here that long. But you just start acting weird, because he would have never done nothing stupid like that in the States. Just because I would have taken it out on his hide. Exactly.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like, they say bubble culture. You get in these little bubbles out here. And even cats that I even know out here, everybody common sense. Like I got to get out of here every once in a while just so I can sharpen up a little, because you get blunted. Mm-hmm. And you're dull. It dulls your senses because everything is just so mechanicalized. Everything is so, all procedures are set. Everything is automated. And you just start doing what they start doing, and black people really, that's kind of dangerous.
On a good note, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You finish. I'm not that you're finished.
No. I was going to say, when you're trying to talk about an issue that has more of a point to it, like we're not talking about all that generalization, all that unspecific. What are we going to do as a human family talk? I'm talking about one specific topic right here, one specific issue. I'm dealing with you as a black person to another black person. Okay. You want to play with that? You know what I'm saying? You play with that, like, all right. Yeah. Okay.
On a good note, as far as the not getting weirded out in this day and age, like as opposed to when I was a child or before the internet age, if you came to Japan, you almost were going to become weirded out because you would be so far out of touch, like snail mail, high telephone rates. But now we have WhatsApp or Skype or the platform we're on right now. That's why Sterlyn and I were maybe even more me. We talk about the Jason Blacks, we talk about the Corey Holcombs, because to me, red pill, blue pill,
Underground
Griff, Underground, my man, Black Magic 363. Shout out to Brother Rich.
Yeah,
these are the shows that help keep me in touch with what my brothers are doing, what's going on, with black people, with real black people. You know what I'm saying? That's what I call it, with real black people. How about real black issues, not black issues, real LGBT issues that are being disguised as black issues, and nothing against LGBT. I'm just saying, if we want to talk about, let's just talk about that. Don't try to hide behind Planned Parenthood and all the white women's liberation, and then really it's just a white nationalist or some kind of white nationalist platform. You're just trying to garner support. Okay, we can talk about that another time.
For sure,
So the internet, if like I said in our broadcast, we're going to talk about certain shows, like the Black Authority. What's my man, Professor Black Truth? Is that another Professor Black Truth?
Yeah.
I haven't watched too many shows, but the ones I've watched, they seem to be on point.
So many people on point. That's the whole point. There's alternatives now. So even the whole ignorance is bliss. I didn't know. If you don't know now, you know. You know what I'm saying? Like so. When I bring that up to you, you can't be, because a lot of times I don't feel like sharing. I do I can really peep what type of person you're gonna be within the first 10, 15 seconds that I talk to you without she even bring that kind of shit up yet. You know what I'm saying? And not that kind of shit, but those kind of people up without even bringing that up to other black people. I'm like, wait a minute, like this cat seemed like he's still caught up. He's still caught up.
Okay.
I don't really have. I don't really have time for all that. But then they start coming to me with, oh, have you listened to this philosopher? And have you listened to this politician? And you're like, okay, if you're still talking like that, then I guess, what about Jason Black? What about so on and so forth? And you can tell they ain't trying to hear none of that.
Yeah.
And that's, I think that's basically the if it's a con, I guess it's a con, but to me, the weight of it is really nothing. Like whatever, it's a little boring. I guess you could say it's boring.
Okay, let's move on. Let's move past that. Let's go to the real. Let's keep on this con thing though. So we talked about just people who basically come over here weird. The two examples we just gave, those guys were kind of weird when they came because they weren't even here long enough to blame Japan or their lack of contact. They just came over here weird. You know what I'm saying? But what about the guy that's been here 20 plus years? Right. We just met a brother the other week, and his brother, he's a musician, and this cat, he came, and we were like, he had to be on the run or whatever, and I was like, you want to hang? Nah, I got to do this, that, and the other. And he actually said he was going to go see his girl. Now, which is great thing. I mean, I'm glad the brother got it. He got a significant other, whatever. But I was looking at this brother's get up, man. And this nigga, I mean, he was beyond bummy, man. He was like a step above being homeless.
You look like Ashy Larry on the Chappelle show.
He was so I ain't never seen I don't think I've ever seen anyone that. He was so ashy. I felt think they were tattoos or some shit. I was looking at his hand like, what's that on your hand, nigga? But he had like beat up clothes, just like old, like hand me down. You can't even find hand me down stuff like that in Japan.
Looked like he was doing push-ups on his fist on concrete,
on flour or some shit.
You done eating dope, yeah.
And and let me say this because I don't want to just act like I'm going on the brother. I actually got weirded out like that, and when I moved to Kagoshima, I was trying to live off the land and be a farmer. And I had a significant portion of land where we were growing food. And Sterlyn came out there a couple times. He knows what time it was.
Great on that one.
And I had just lost contact with that same kind of thing. I moved back to up here to Nagoya, and but this was an extreme situation. But again, it's still my mentality. I was just so far away from civilization. I remember when I was writing Gaikokujin, the story, we were moving. So all of my stuff was in transit. Like I think my computer, my desktop, or whatever wasn't there, and I needed to go to a internet cafe. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna get up in the morning and go there. So I'm kind of bummy, whatever I know, but I mean, I'm still going outside. Man, I went outside. This story. I went outside and I had on a sweatsuit. And matter of fact, I wear the sweatsuit as pajamas today. It's a one piece, but it's looking, maybe you shouldn't be outside looking like that. And I didn't even think nothing of it. My hair was out. It was looking kind of ruffled. And before I got to the internet cafe, I wanted to eat something so that I could go in there and get like 6 strong hours. So it was wintertime. This is important. It was wintertime. But it was a nice day, but it was cold outside. So, but I went to the convenience store and bought a bento, which is a lunch, a lunch. But I have a little bit of vegetables, rice, some kind of meat or something. And I went to this park, a nearby park, and was just gonna scarf it down real fast so I didn't have to order any of that food there. And so I'm eating it, and this dude comes and sits next to me. A Japanese guy just comes and sits down next to me. I mean, but like it's a park, and he comes and sits like really close to me. And I'm like, yo, what are you doing, man? Move. Can you move over there a little bit? And I say it with an attitude. And I'm speaking Japanese to him, and he's like, oh, like he's shocked. And he walks away, but I could tell he has this playful look on his face, and it was just weird. Like I'm like, it didn't seem like he was talking to me.
Okay.
And so I'm like trying to
right. Yeah, I remember.
The signals are weird, right? So then he starts talking to me, and he's just talking to me like he didn't like I ain't got nothing else better to do than to talk to him. You know, like not like I'm a stranger he never met before who wants to talk to me. Like, excuse me, can I ask you some questions? None of that. He just starts going in. Like, I'm like, I had to look at him like, I don't know this guy.
Do I
he
know
didn't.
you? Yeah, does this guy knows me? Yeah.
But even if that was the case, he would at least be like, yo, Takuan, or yo, Tak, or
okay.
You know, say, or he would be like, yo, what's up?
Like old people see you around, that might mix you up.
That's true, but I didn't live there. I lived in Kagoshima. I was just there. I didn't live there. Nobody, you know what I mean? Yeah. So everything was off. Everything was off. But like what Sterlyn said, it was happening so fast. I don't have time to really because I don't even care. I'm just trying to finish this meal and leave. And I'm listening to what he's saying, and finally he gets to the point. He says, "So what do you do when it gets cold? You just walk around?" And I'm like, wait a minute. I was like, yo, man, I'm not homeless. You think I'm homeless? And he was like, oh, yeah, sure, you're not homeless. Yeah, okay, you're not homeless. And I'm like, oh, this cat thinks I'm homeless. So then I jump into this I'm not homeless defensive phase, which made me look homeless.
Yeah.
And I remember, I think he's on my Facebook. He's one of my Facebook friends to this day. And I remember we exchanged Facebook, and I showed him my face. But a homeless person can have Facebook nowadays. I know, and he's just like, yeah, okay, still. And I remember I left, and a couple weeks later, I had a presentation at a college. I did a presentation at a Nanzan University. They had a summer program, and I presented. And so and I had a suit on, and I posted it. Man, homeboy was like, oh, you can't. Oh my God, yo, man, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. And he was like, man, and I was like, yeah. So to that day, to that moment, he still thought I was homeless.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't from that area.
Poor guy, out here in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, but the whole thing is, but even then, that's when I realized I was like, oh, so I guess I can pass for Japanese because he didn't. There ain't no black homeless people out here. You know what I'm saying? Right. And he didn't think I was a gaijin homeless person. He wasn't speaking to me in haro. He just started speaking to me in regular Japanese. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm so I'm like, yeah, that was kind of a unique experience. But I said all that to say this is that at that point I had been here for like, I don't know, 9, almost 10 straight years, and I had moved to different places, and I was out of touch. Because I would never come out like now. I would never come out looking like that. And I definitely wouldn't do that. Have done that in the States. That was something from having, not just being in Japan. That was special from being. I lived in the house I had in the countryside. I had my own hatake where what's a hatake? It's not a garden. It's
garden. Yeah, there's a vegetable.
An orchard. It was actually it was big, but it was bigger than a garden.
Okay.
And we were trading vegetable, or we were growing mostly herb, but no vegetables too. And I was a vegetarian back then, and I had just really went too far into this conscious thing. Mm-hmm. For me, I'm not saying for those of you that, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with growing your own food. I'm still with that, but I'm not trying to live out in the countryside anymore. Mm-hmm. I was chopping wood every day. I had a bathhouse, separate bathhouse. I had to burn wood. I was really out there. I mean, I could walk outside butt naked, and nobody could see me. I had bush, a lot of it was land.
Remember when you turned off remember when we were in the car and we stopped on the way towards your house and you're like, watch this. You turn off the car lights. You just turn off the car, and it was just pitch black. Like if you got out the car and ran, I would have no idea where you went.
Yeah.
Damn, it's black. It's just pitch black, dark.
No street lights, no nothing.
It was like nothing in the sky. It might have been a cloudy day. I was like, wow. You could really,
it was a cloudy night. Mm-hmm.
Cloudy night, yep. I was like, wow, man. This is, so he really went out there, yo. Like, I mean, like, you're talking all that, a lot of cats come over here on the spiritual thing, the Buddhist path, just live off the land. That's what I want to do the rest of my life. Just raise a family, live off the land. He went and tried this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we did this for real. Remember you were harvesting them eels, or like you were farming them eels? You were like fishing.
Yeah. I one of the part times I did, I was fishing for baby eels. Damn. I can't. The name is not. I'm speaking too much English, but we had to get up at like 4 whenever the tide was high. and it had to be at nighttime because you had to shine a light over the water, and the eel would come up and you had to scuba. But I have a lot. I mean, that was when I remember back on that, it's a valuable experience. You know, but I would never do no shit like that again. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you know, like I said, I was really like some people talk about it. I am about it. Whatever I talk about, I'm about it. You know what I'm saying? So I really put both feet in, and I never was going to come back to society ever again. I never thought I was going to be doing even this stuff like this. I wanted to write and stay out there and never really have my face on the screen ever again.
Yep. Real talk. I remember that, man.
Yep. And you know, Spirit brought me back. You know, I ended up getting hurt, and I write part of that in the beginning of book 3 when I was actually I was basically a cripple for 5 years, close to 5 years. I mean, inside and out of the hospital, wheelchairs and crutches, and I really just got over that like in the last year and a half, due to a rehab that I had to invent myself, basically. But that's another story. But I'm adding this too, and I think Sterlyn should too, because we want to start putting in, saying some of our experience, because I think a lot of people, when I'm talking, they're coming at me, and I'm not trying to say I'm the all-know, done-all, but when I talk to other people, especially foreigners, especially cats that are like teachers, they basically have a teaching experience. That's it. They came over here, and even like one guy, he was, I taught for like 20 years here, but I taught in stage 3 years. That exceeds the normal guy that I talk to. Where in my case, like I said, I used to be, I used to be in the Army. You know, sometimes I still wear my camera, you know, and people know this ain't something from Trader Joe's. This is a real uniform. I was a paratrooper in the U.S. Army. These experiences mean stuff. You know, coming over here, like this man, he has a company. You know, he has his own. These experiences transcend the normal gaijin, definitely, but even the normal gaikokujin experience. I see a lot of, like even African dudes I meet, or other, I meet black dudes who own businesses, and they have a successful business. But even then, their experience, that's it. They came here and they do that, and everything that's attached to that, they know very well, but they don't know anything else.
Right.
You know, like, you know, that's why we talk about our experiences. We're trying to start telling you our experiences a lot of times, because I feel a lot of people step into the mic, and I don't want to say it to them, but I'm like, what is your experience? Like, where are you drawing this wealth of information from? And a lot of times they'll be getting it from this one pool, and that's cool. But if you're listening to what we're talking about, we'll be drawing from a number of different experiences to come to this conclusion. Not just the gaijin experience, not just the teaching English in a school experience, or teaching in an eikaiwa, which is all good. It's all fair. But we're talking about more than that. Like I said, I go see Sterlyn. He the mayor in his city. And I don't mean on some gaijin, you know, I mean, that some of that may exist too, you know, it's case by case, but he has real relationships with people that really know him for him. And if they don't like him, they don't like him. And if they like him, they like him. They don't, oh, he American. He cool. You know what I'm saying?
They don't even know nothing about me. People don't know nothing about me, but they know me. You know what I'm saying? Like, they know who I am based off of who I am here. They you know, they remember who I was when they first met me, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, they've known me for a while, kind of thing. You know, it literally is the place that I reside in. So people are like, when are you going to go home? It's the person, anybody who says that to me is somebody who don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because I rarely get that in this area where I live at. Yeah.